If you understand what I'm about to show you about God, your perspective is going to completely change the way you move, the way you respond to the things of this life. It's going to completely change if you have this revelation and you understand what I'm about to show you. Understand that this is the earth right here, right? And God is sitting here and he can see everything about the earth. He sits outside of the earth. He sees every situation. He sees every detail. Nothing that is happening is surprising him because he can see it from every single angle. He's in full control. At any point in time, right? He can step in and he can move things around. He can shift things. He can stop things. He can block things. He can remove things. He can take it away. He can add things. God can do whatever he wants to do because he's in full control. Notice I've got this watch here. This represents time. In Genesis, we see that God created time, so he exists outside of time and space. When people say, oh, you guys been saying that God is coming forever and you've been saying that for years, they don't understand that God is bigger than time. So what might have been 1,000 years to us is only a blink of an eye to him. All right, so he sits outside of time. He sits outside of our problems. He sits outside of every situation, and he sees everything that is going on from every possible angle. At any point in time, you know what I'm saying? He can grab the remote. He can change the channel. He can shift something. He can move something. So that means that he's sitting here, and whatever bad thing that you might think that is happening in this world or bad news that is happening, God is still in control. He can change it. All right, he could take it away. For example, he can make coronavirus go away. He can, whether it's a king, a president, whatever it is, he can knock that person off. Right? He could take their life. He can literally do whatever he wants to do. So he's in full control. So whatever is happening, God is not up here sitting at this table just, surprised and confused and wringing his hands. He's always in full control. This is why I tell people, for example, with like death, whether it's cancer, whether it's coronavirus, whether it's a car accident, whether it's old age, whatever it is, God is the one who says, okay, time for you to go, right? He's the one, this is the earth. He's the one who says, all right, it's time for you to go because he's in full control. And so if he sees everything and he knows everything, right? And he's the Alpha and Omega, right? He's at the beginning and he's at the end, right? So he sees everything in between. He knows everything that's going to happen in between, right? Then that means I can trust him because, he sees every angle. He knows every angle. So he knows what's best for me. The perspective from up here looks a lot different than the perspective down here. The perspective down here is going to be very limited and very small, all right? Imagine you're just like a person that is standing on this table probably as big as my fingernail. To you, this is going to look like a humongous thing, a huge giant, a huge, task that is just, it's so much bigger than you. But to God, it's something small. It's something that he can handle. It's something that he can control. So his perspective is completely different. So what you got to do is learn to trust him and acknowledge him. Like if you look at this table and you think about it, encompassing everything, then you can apply this to every area of your life, right? It might look like it's a good idea to date this individual at this step right here. But God sees this step. He sees 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line. So if you listen to him, he'll tell you no, he'll stop it right here because he knows everything else. And then on the flip side of that, even if it doesn't look good right now, God knows it can turn around in 5 years, turn around in 10 years, turn around in 20 years, turn around next year. But the thing is, you just got to trust him. And so that's what God is looking for. He's looking for someone who is really just sitting there saying, you know what, Lord, order my steps. The steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord. I know that you're a big God. I know that you're a great God. I know that you see way more than I see. I know you understand more than I understand. You know the very number of where he sits. He can count the very number of hairs on your head. So he knows so much more than us. So if we really trust him and we understand that he's in control and we understand that he loves us, I'm telling you, it changes the way you move. It changes the way you respond. It changes your thought process. It changes the way you look at opposition, giants, and trials because you say, you know what? No matter where I go, no matter where I walk on here, God is still in control. Even if it feels like I'm alone, even if it feels like I'm rejected, God still has full control. No matter where I am in this life, I felt isolated, I felt rejected. I just got to know that The Bible says it's going to work out for my good. All things are working together for the good of them that love him and are called according to his purpose. And God will finish what he started in me. I just got to wait on him. I got to trust in him and just know he's in control. Love you guys. Be blessed. Be encouraged in Jesus' name.